When I started science journalism in this country about 10 years back, almost like 20 years back actually, it was still a nascent field. Nobody was a full-fledged science journalist at that point of time. And I had a choice of going between politics and sports and what have you, all the kinds of other fields of journalism and science journalism. I am still sorry to say that it still continues to be a nascent field because there are not too many people in the profession even now. So what had begun with a couple of us or a bunch of us beginning to look at science as one of the areas that could be emerging in journalism. Science is one area that gives you the perfect pitching in journalism because in all other spheres you have a negative or a positive kind of feedback from your audiences. Science is something that is almost always positive. You know, you figure out and you dig out facts, and it's in nature pretty investigative. So science lends itself very, very easily to investigative journalism. So these two fields, I think, merge very beautifully. You could look at it from various points. One is the policy issues that we face in this country. And so news-wise or features-wise or research-wise, policy is something we focus on very, very, effectively and candidly because that is what shapes the future of the country. That is what gives us the R&D budgets in this country. So that is one aspect of what we call a challenge in covering. The other aspect is the fact that scientists are more often than not very quiet and reserved people. So you would rather have a scientist who's doing his work for decades now, but not willing to come out and speak about his work. So that is one challenge we keep facing all the while, trying to bring out the science from the labs to the masses. So there are so many studies and so many researches happening across the world, which we journalists, science journalists brand as pseudoscience because there's no evidence-based behind that. So how to scotch that, how to come around as authentic scientific studies being covered in the media. That is one challenge. The other challenge that I would think in terms of environment coverage is, again, the policy issues in the larger framework of things. I'm talking the United Nations Framework Conventions on climate change. So science journalism, I would say, is something that has not been yet associated with the glamour of journalism. And all of us who have been journalists for ages now know how glamorous the profession can be or not be. So from outside, it looks like it's got tons to offer you in terms of how much you can rise with your bylines or your stories and be recognized. Science actually offers a really, really glamorous way out of all of these because every story that you do is impactful. Every story that you do is bound to be investigative in nature. So it automatically raises the bar of journalism by being science journalism itself. If you start working as a science journalist, from day one you have that satisfaction of covering a story that has yielded a result or impacted lives.